Hello my gorgeous Leos, thank you so much for tuning in to your September reading with me, Lorien. It's a pleasure to do this reading for you, and it's very nice of you to join me. So this is a reading for Leo, Sun, Moon and Rising sign. This is going to cover all of those aspects, and if you have your Venus in Leo as well, such as your your love sign, this can also be good to have a look at your kind of love relationships that's coming through as well for you. So let's have a look and see what's coming up for you guys. So I have meditated before this reading, and if you want a personal reading from myself, all you need to do is go to the website that's linked below and the reading page, or email me lorientarot@gmail.com. That email is also below. Oop. I think that one wants to come out. Let's see who you are. Seven of Cups, you have some choices coming through. That's interesting. Alright, let's see. These two seem to want to come out, but I'm just going to see if they do so naturally, because I'm not going to pick every single one here. So, saying what? Oh, they're saying that one should be okay. Okay, let's do this one then. Oh, wow. Okay, now I know. You've got the Judgment there. You've got the Six of Pentacles. The Ten of Cups. Wow, the Six of Wands. And the Devil, yeah, he's come up quite a few times. The Moon. And the Emperor. Alrighty, let's see what we can get from this then. Okay, and what's underneath? The Knight of Cups. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, I'll put him over there. So, let me just get the feeling as to what's coming through here for you. Sorry, I'm just listening to what they're saying to me right now, because it seems to be a little bit of all over the place. However, there is a common theme, and the theme is, I'll try and interpret it as best as I can. The theme that I'm getting from them is basically to straighten up and choose your path. You've had a lot of indecision. You've had a lot of will I, won't I, what's the thing that I need to do, where do I go from here? A little bit of a fly-by-night in some respects when it comes to maintaining energy, money, time, that kind of thing. I think that's a little bit of an issue coming through for you guys. Okay, so there seems to be kind of like this expectation from the month, not from you guys necessarily. It's almost like an expectation that seems to be happening around you. Maybe that I should have my stuff sorted out, or I should have X, Y, Z when it comes to certain things. I'm just going to see if I can lighten this up a bit for you, because there we go. That's a little bit better. Okay, so I mean, it is sunset, but it's really dark. Anyway, so let's have a look. Seven of Cups. I am channeling through every single card on this one because they have so many different messages to send to you. It's quite complex. So this is all about your faith, but also to choose the right way. You may have a little bit of temptation from somewhere, like you're thinking, oh, maybe I should go for this, but this is basically saying one at a time. Do one thing at a time. You can't be scattered energy all over the place. You have not got the kind of time, I think, is the main thing, for you to be so here, there and everywhere with it. I think the issue is that you're maybe putting a little bit too much effort into trying to figure out all threads at once, which is not necessarily a bad thing. However, I do think you're giving yourself a raw deal. I do think that there's a lot of potential from you here, and also there seems to be a lot of encouragement coming up too. I would say that there needs to be slightly less punishment for yourself. That's what it seems to come through. A little less punishment, a little less bravado with, with regards to, oh, it'll just work out. maybe it won't. Maybe the universe is actually saying to you, you have to take this for yourself. You have to do it by yourself. Not by yourself, but kind of help me out a little bit here, Leo. You know, that kind of thing, saying if you want to save money, maybe you have to get a job first, and, you know, to kind of do that. And I do think it's this kind of flighty nature that seems to be kind of ruining certain things. Not anything else, I just think a little bit difficult for you in some way. And then we come to the Six of Wands here, which is mostly about growth, and I would also say that there's a lot of potential here for you as well, but it is also about progress. So even though you may think you're doing a lot of oohing and ahhing over where you need to be, just think about the progress that you're making. You have a lot of potential here to win. You have a lot of potential here to transition into something new, and I do think that this is quite a lot of impressions that are kind of coming through for you. This is basically your self-confidence, and I do think a lot of the things you've gone through before is maybe your rite of passage. Maybe it's something that you had to just live through to understand the nature of where you're going in the future. I think that there's a lot of intricate displays at work here, and I would say that there's more intensity that's coming through too, but it just feels like there's a lot more I don't know how to like weighing up and down on things. It's kind of like the balance is maybe isn't right for you, so you don't necessarily have to worry too much about whether the decision to create something new is wrong or whether the decision to go somewhere different is wrong. It just feels like there's too much potential that's maybe going to waste here because you're kind of worrying about the wrong thing. So the Judgment card here is a very strong card. For me, this is something that seems to be saying that you are being called into action, but you may just be being led onto a different path by listening to other people, stuff like that. What you need to do is kind of not think maybe 5 years in the future, but think for the here and now. What do I need to do right now to start on the road that I need to get to the place that I want to be? So for instance, I want to move country and I want to be over there, blah blah. I'm just going to live as though I am already over there, and well, you're not, and you're not doing anything to progress yourself over there, so maybe to start stepping it down. And I do think this is the same for relationships, and it's the same for any family stuff too. It's basically that you have to be very determined, you have to be very direct, and just lay the groundwork. Have a business plan if you need, have something there that seems to be kind of coming through for you. But I do feel that overall this is something that needs to be maybe attended to a little bit first. So you could or may need to be something that you're trying to focus on a little bit too much. So it could be that you kind of step forwards and like claim something. It could be that you try your best to, I don't know, to reach out to other people and see how they did it. But the thing is, this is where the devil comes in. So it could be the devil's kind of going, hey, look at the stuff that I've got, look at the kind of things that I have here. I don't know, it's just like he's trying to distract you from something. So you could say this is a really good relationship, and then temptation comes through and it kind of is like, hey, you know, what about that other guy that's really cute, or what about that other girl that's really cute? Or it could even be, but what about this $1 million franchise that's going to take you away from everything you've wanted for 5 years just to get your money? You know, I think that's the kind of thing. You have to decide whether you're going to start and go and play to your own tune, or whether you're going to be tempted by this is money and this is this. You have to be very settled. You have to be very determined that what you want to do is the right thing. So sometimes maybe it could be best for you to kind of take a little bit of intricacy into meditation, stuff like that, that sort of potential having there. And I do think that there's a little bit more coming through for you, to be honest. There does feel like there's potential. There feels like there's maybe even sometimes one-upmanship, but it does have a very strong connection that's coming through here for you. And I do feel like there's so much more that you can put your mind to than maybe you're allowing yourself to do right now. The Six of Pentacles, you've got a lot of sixes in this one. It basically is about your generosity, your charity, your giving. If you give, you will be able to kind of receive back. But at the same time, I think you may be focusing on giving the wrong things. You're focusing on the reflection of yourself. Again, it's kind of like you see yourself in your destination, which is good. It's good manifestation. It's great. But it does just kind of need that extra wedge. Don't spend money or give stuff like you already hit the millions if you're not there yet, if you're still the little kitty and you're not the panther, you know. Sometimes this could be that people think that you're a little bit above your station. It could be a little bit that your ego needs to be in check. I don't think that's what it is. I think that this is all about the mysteries of what's coming through for you, and maybe that you just need to kind of play on that a little bit more, or kind of loosen it up slightly, because it feels as though there's a lot happening behind the scenes and you could grab onto something, but it's not kind of working out really. And then we have the Ten of Cups. So the Ten of Cups is basically I've made it card. It's the culmination, the completion of your happiness, of your alignment with the universe. And coupled with here, I'm not saying that you necessarily need a partner to make that happen, but it certainly seems like your education has paid off here. You have the education, you have the potential, and you have the knowledge now to actually go into something better in October. So this feels like it's all like the culmination of certain things. It's really building you up and taking you that extra bit further. There's so many multi-layers to this, and I'm not meaning to sound like, you know, Leos are egocentrics or anything like that at all. What I feel like this is a bit of an additional, a bit like an additional twist coming through. That's what it feels like. There needs to be something that you have on your own side. There needs to be something that you give to yourself, yes. And so if you want to treat yourself, fine, treat yourself. But you have to play, and you have to play to your own tune, yeah. But you can't juggle everything. For instance, I know some people who are like, oh, I'm going to do this career, that career, this career. Well, that's not working out within 5 minutes. I'm just going to go over here. They have the skills they need to create a career all by themselves. They have that skill, but they're just not listening to it. They're not doing anything about it. They're not moving towards anything. You know, there's just nothing there. And I think that needs to be maybe taken into account when it comes to yourself, like even if it's in a relationship, or even if it's kind of like in family terms. Oh yeah, well, I'm just going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to talk to you, but I need to work on this and this. Maybe you don't have any time to do anything else. Maybe you're just kind of being a little bit, I don't know, upside down and back to front. But it does feel like there's so many things that seem to be coming up for you that I'm not quite sure as to how really to describe the many levels as to what you need to do. That's what it feels like. There's so many ups and downs. There's so many backs and forwards. And I do think that all together, it's quite a positive turn for you, but it just takes that kind of reining yourself in, making yourself feel maybe like you're doing something good, rather than thinking that you have to spread yourself so thin. Because a lot of people, I think, take the wrong degree when it comes to this kind of thing. I think it takes a little bit of a kind of an issue that seems to be coming through, but honestly, it feels a lot like you're trying to figure out where you need to be this month. And basically it means you need to put down the foundation, and you need to make sure that you have that kind of attention, basically the attention span to do it. Be like a Capricorn, be like a Taurus, you know, dig your heels in. Do not let anybody make you stray from that path. Do not let anything deter you from doing what you need to do, because I think this is definitely something that you need to try and achieve for yourself. And then you have the Knight of Cups here, and the Knight of Cups is all about motion. It's about messages, but it can be somebody romantic and charming, maybe somebody coming into the picture that gives you the motivation to try. But similarly, it could have hidden dangers beneath, you know? So I think that's kind of an issue, maybe that's something that you're trying your best to achieve, trying your best to sort of, you know, kind of go through certain motions. But I do feel like there's a little bit of upside downs, twisty turnies, all that kind of thing that needs to be developed, it needs to be coming through for you. I know it may sound convoluted, but I do think that it needs to be something that you define. And let's have a look at what comes through for you now with the runes. Whoop. So that was upright because I had it the wrong way around. So this is Rado. This is about travel, and this is the dance of life. Unfortunately, the dance of life does require that you have changes and challenges, and sometimes it may not be 100%. However, it feels like there's a lot of positivity coming through for you, and it does feel like there's a lot of intensity as well. Oh, okay. So this is in, I would say it's in reverse, but you know, it can be about bad counsel. And where are we? We're over the devil. So this, I think, is basically taking other people for, you know, whatever they're saying. Like, oh yeah, well, if you do this, if you can do this, you can make money and blah, blah, blah. I don't think you need to do that. You don't need to listen to that. You don't need to have that sort of bad counsel. You don't have to be that gullible about people who promise you the world and then kind of bugger off and do something else. You can't really buy into that. I think that's not something you should do this month. Then you have to gasp. This is ending, basically. And it can be something that's kind of like a time thing. When I'm looking at it here, I mean, it should be that way, which is breakthrough and planning. But here I feel that it's quite a strong connection of saying, look, you may reach your limit sometime this month. You may reach your kind of like, look, I don't know where I'm going. Slow it down slightly, because I do think that you're pretty much on the way to something incredible. And then we have, if I can work it. Hey, this is what we know. It's algae. This is protection. This is warding off evil. I think that this is very much something that you need to do this month, that you need to achieve, that you kind of should maybe, I got a blank one. I just wanted some kind of clarification on that. This is something that you can kind of shield from. Oh, okay, so I'm going to say this way because my fingers were doing everything at that point. So this is pleasure, this is fellowship and glory. So this is joy and comfort as well. Sorry, it's Wunjo. And to be honest, it feels like you are becoming something new. Throughout this month, you are increasing your intensity, you are developing lots of different things, you are going through various states potentially of disarray. But I think the thing is, you're doing the groundwork, you're doing the base work. Now, I'm going to say that there's one friend of mine who has had so much bad luck with money, with jobs. She's not happy where she is. She's a Leo. And bless her heart, she doesn't seem to have a proper direction. She's got loads of strings in her bows here. She can do anything. But I think on top of it all, she, as well as many of you Leos, just need to kind of rein it in a little bit and just see what your heart's desire is. Definitely not something corporate for her, but it could be something like that for you if that's where your heart is. But I do think that there's a lot of positivity coming through here in general for you, and I don't think that you should give up. I really think that if you ignore that, you've got a damn fine spread here. So try not to give in to people who are kind of trying to pull you away or be very dastardly, if that makes sense. So I think that's very positive for you. I think it's a good idea. I think it's very strong. But yeah, I do believe that there's a lot of positivity coming from this for you, and I feel it's quite a generous type of turn of events almost. But yeah, we'll see how this goes for you. Let me know what comes through in September. You got any plans? I really hope that this is something that you can develop. I'm really looking forward also to seeing what comes through in October, because depending on how it goes this month for the majority of you, which is kind of what I pick up on the energies of, I think you're going to go into something so much better. But we'll see. If you do want a reading from me, even if you want a reading with the runes, email me lorientarot@gmail.com or click on the website link below. It'll take you directly to my readings page. But in the meantime, I wish you all the best of luck. Take care of yourself, and I really do hope to see you all soon.